Greetings, 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 everyone. I hope you are having an amazing week so far. And thank you for tuning in to another episode of Beyond Boardroom Business. This is the podcast where I get to interview trailblazers and business owners and people who make a difference. And tonight's guest is just amazing. You definitely have to get your friends and family involved and make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this information because this brother right here is definitely someone that you need to know. So without further ado, I'm going to allow this king to introduce himself. So please welcome Mr. Arkee Hodges. How are you tonight, sir?
Welcome, Coach Stephanie. Thanks for such an amazing intro. I feel kingly.
You deserve it. I mean, what I know of you thus far, and I can't wait to find out more. I mean, I'm just like definitely in awe. So, I know that what we go through is definitely to prepare us for what is to come. And just please share with us, the viewers and the listeners, who is Arkee Hodges?
All right. Well, I'll start with I'm the president of the Black Achievement Fund, which is a nonprofit Black economic and community development corporation with the mission of rebuilding Black America through a simple system of collective economics. 10 million Black people, $9 a month, equals 90 million a month and over $1 billion a year. So that is the Black Achievement Fund. We've been collecting contributions since June of 2020, and we are trying to build the next Black-owned city.
Wow.
So that's who I am. That's the Black Achievement Fund in a nutshell. Then we can, I guess, talk about my background.
Yes. How did you get there?
Oh, that's a big question. We actually started the Black Achievement Fund as undergraduate students on the campus of the University of Virginia in 1996.
Wow.
I was studying African American studies and history, and we felt that integration politics had run its course and that Black people had not become liberated through integration as was promised. So we began to analyze what were the missing components to Black liberation. And resoundingly, it was economic independence for
Yeah.
self-determination.
Yes.
So we decided to address this issue by coming up with some type of solution, and that was our key word, to always focus on solution instead of just analysis.
Right.
So our solution took us back to Garvey, took us back to Kwanzaa, took us to simple collective economics. So we wanted to be able to raise a fund that would be at least $1 billion. But more importantly, we wanted all Black people to have an opportunity to participate, in the onus of our liberation or economic independence didn't fall on the Michael Jordans and the Oprah Winfreys. So we made it under $10. And that's where the $9 a month, 10 million people comes from. It allowed us to achieve $1 billion in cash every single year. So we did a 2-year feasibility study on the campus of the University of Virginia, and it just took off. People thought that it was the most common sense idea that anybody could come up with. But unfortunately, because we were so young at the time, our mentors urged us not to launch the fund right after undergrad. They felt that the community wasn't ready to have a bunch of 22-year-olds running $1 billion corporation on behalf of all Black people. So we took their advice to heart, and we went and got more experience in the work world and all of those things. And everything that I did just brought me right back to the Black Achievement Fund.
Wow. So let me ask you this. What within you made you even want to lead this way?
I didn't necessarily think about myself as being a leader, more
Okay.
so as someone who could put ideas together and bring ideas to life. But I never thought of myself as being a Black leader. We just wanted economic independence so that we could be self-determining people right here in America. I didn't want to be an honorary European or anything like that. So, but I think my upbringing helped prepare me for this moment. I shared with you that I was born and raised in the projects in Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
My dad was on heroin his whole entire life. My mom was on crack. And I came up during the crack era. So I sold crack, I sold heroin, I sold cocaine, and all of those things. And I almost lost my life. I got shot up. My right arm was paralyzed.
Oh,
And in the hospital, there was a mist that rose up from my bed, like you see in TV. I couldn't
yeah.
discern male or female, even with the voice. It seemed like it alternated. But the voice said, I didn't put you in this perilous environment for you to succumb to death or being locked up. There are some critical things that I needed you to learn here
Yeah.
for what I ultimately have for you down the road. So don't follow money. Don't chase money. Follow
Wow.
me and you'll get your arm back. And I just knew that I would get my arm back, even though it was absolutely, I mean, I can't even put in words what it felt like to be what I was 17 years old and
Wow.
I'm right-handed and cannot use my right arm again. But that faith ultimately pulled me through. And as you can see, I
Yeah.
did get
That's why.
control of the arm
How
again.
were, how were you able to stay positive throughout the recovery?
Um, Knowing that I had a mission, knowing that there was a higher purpose and that it was explicitly stated to me. So
Mm,
I knew, and I always had promise, even though I was in the projects, I went to a gifted and talented school for elementary and middle school. And then I took a test and was able to get into Eastern Virginia Medical School for high school. So I knew that school was a viable way out of the projects. But again, I had younger brothers and sisters that I was worrying about, and I didn't have the wisdom of a 30-year-old or 45-year-old person. I'm a 13, 14, 15-year-old, young man just trying to figure it all out on the spot. So
mm.
it was tough, but it was that purpose that, I put you here for something greater than what you've seen thus far.
Did you feel different? As you mentioned, your parents were going through some challenges. Did you feel that? How did you feel when you came to that realization of who they are?
Well, my father, I learned after my grandmother's death, and this was a terrible, terrible situation. But I learned that my father was on drugs because my grandmother, his mother, was the heroin lady in our town,
Wow.
and he ended up finding a bag of dope on the floor or whatever, and he did with it what he saw other people do with it.
Wow.
So my father never really had a chance. He was hooked on heroin from day one. My mom came from a very middle class, upwardly middle class family, so there was a direct contrast. Um,
Mhm.
my father's side of the family and my mom's side of the family. So I had a lot of people that I could look to who were successful through school.
Yeah.
Um, my first cousins, out of us, we have 5 Ivy League degrees. So there was a lot of prosperity on one side of the family. And that side ultimately helped me navigate myself out of that situation.
Wow.
But I credit my grandmother and my father's side for giving me that street savviness that
Sure.
kept me alive.
Wow. That's true. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Both worlds. Wow.
It
What?
wasn't, it was not easy. When I found out that my mom was on crack, I mean, that I began to spiral after that moment.
Yeah.
And
I can
that
imagine.
all happened right around the time in which I was shot up, I was kidnapped. So many
Wow.
other things happened, but um, just knowing once again that there was something greater at the end
Yeah.
of the is what pushed me and kept me going.
Wow. That's amazing. Did you have any mentors at all?
My uncle, Ronnie, he was a Rastafarian. So
Okay.
he knew that I was smart. And he gave me books like the autobiography of Malcolm X. He
Okay.
had me underline all the words that I didn't know and, look them up.
Okay.
So he was my
That's
first mentor and teacher. And my Aunt Sylvia, she was also instrumental in helping me to understand the importance of education. I was told that when I first took the test for gifted and talented, I was told that I didn't make it. This was in like second grade or something like that. My mom didn't think anything of it. When I mentioned it to my aunt Sylvia, she was like, "But didn't you tell me the test was easy?" I said, "I thought it was." She demanded that they show the test scores that I did or retest me. And of course, they didn't have the test scores and they retested me. And all of a sudden I passed. So my aunt Sylvia and my uncle Ronnie, they were my two
Wow.
biggest inspirations growing up.
That's beautiful. That's really beautiful to have. You just never know how you're going to receive it. But wow, that's the what is it? The beginnings of a leader. I mean, even though you didn't ask, but when it's bestowed upon you, you just have to follow suit. And so, when you created the Black Achievement Fund, what's your overall goal for the organization?
The overall goal is to provide a platform for Black people to become not just economically independent as a race, but to have a fund that will enable us to rebuild Black cities again. Before segregation was over, we had dozens and dozens of Black cities, Black towns all across the country. And those towns, dried up once integration became the norm and people, the most prosperous of the community, were fortuitous enough to be able to leave, and it left the communities bankrupt, literally. Black businesses no longer had a source of clientele for their businesses. The moral authority of the community was gone, and things like drugs were able to come in and take over our community. So we wanted to, our goal is to reestablish all Black municipalities where we control the police department, the mayors, we appoint the judges, we build our own jail, so on and so forth. But it's a platform that gives us the ability to be completely self-determining people right here, right now in America. So that is our ultimate goal.
So is it like the Black Wall Street, the original Black Wall Street?
Similar to that, but the difference is that Black Wall Street was a neighborhood. It was a community. It wasn't a municipality. Had it been a municipality, it would have had a police force. Having a police force and the capital to collect your own property taxes for all of the homes and things of that in your community would have given them the revenue base to be able to defend their community a lot more than just relying on individuals with guns in their house, protecting their homes. It would have provided an extra legal apparatus that would have hopefully helped prevent some of the damage that was done. So that is our goal, is to look at the past, see where we could have improved and make those improvements in the future now. But we can't keep talking about how great that was and then don't feel like we can do it again. If they did that over 100 years ago, under
Man,
worse racial climate, why aren't we trying to do the same things today?
before laptops, before cell phones, just
All of that.
imagine before AI. So, um, let's just be straight about it. Um, there are other people that don't want to see a successful community. So, um, do you think politics will get involved and try to discredit what you're doing, or do you think that you actually have a potential to make this happen?
That's a great question. Of course, politics gets involved. We're building right now. We own 112 acres in Middle Georgia, 2 hours south of Atlanta, and we're seeking to build our very first retreat and residential community called our New Kemet Retreat and Residential Community. And it
Awesome.
has taken over a year for me to get financing to build the first house. Mind you, I've been a real estate investor for over 25 years. I have great credit, all of these things. And I'm coming from New York, buying brownstones and whatnot in New York with less. And it has been a challenge because we know that certain people certainly don't want to be a part of showcasing Black genius, Black talent, and that sort
Right.
of thing. because at the end of the day, that debunks racism more than anything else. How you can say these people can't be self-governing? How can you say these people can't build their own communities when we see it right in front of us?
Yeah.
So the proof is the best sort of challenge that we can offer to racism and to racist people. But yeah, politics are definitely involved. You have to have to become a municipality is an act of the state assembly. So you have to have a sponsor through the General Assembly. And right now we are working on our sponsor. We kind of have one identified, but you can't talk all your business until certain things happen, because people will
True.
put things in place to tear them
Block.
down.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That is something else. And I definitely want the best for this project to come into fruition. It sounds wonderful, and um, I don't see why it shouldn't. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean that's really courageous. I love it. I love the concept. I love everything about it. And so, how do you find the people that would like to partner with you, or what's the process that you can discuss?
We have done everything in our power to market and promote the Black Achievement Fund. We have our members marketing and promoting. We have a YouTube page in which I've literally done over 200, 300 videos explaining every aspect of the Black Achievement Fund. We have done social media marketing, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. Everything that we can think of, we've done it. But I think the burden of proof is so great right now because our community doesn't believe that we have the capacity to be self-governing. They
Hmm.
don't believe that we have the leadership that can manifest these grandiose ideas of Black sustainability, Black economic independence, starting a upscale Black community, a new Black city. All of those things sound like something of yesteryear.
Right.
And all of the leadership that we have in our community is political leadership for the most part.
Right.
They're involved in politics and those sort of things. So you don't have a strong group of people in our community that are
Yeah.
pushing for what we're doing. So because there's not a light shining on this idea, the light
Mhm.
is shining still on these other entities. So we have to fight to overcome all of the clout that the integrationists have, the political people have. And that's why we are Economic and Community Development Corporation, because building this community is the proof that
Yeah.
we can achieve what we're doing.
Right. So essentially, I mean, you and I know that, I mean, there's magic in melanin. I mean, we definitely come from the origins. And so it's just a matter of really just people being brainwashed and programmed.
Mhm.
So, how can you combat that? And can people sign a petition or something to kind of get this moving
Well,
along?
we're telling everyone that your $9 a month motivates everything. It pushes the envelope forward, and it shows that the movement has regular people that believe in what we're doing. So I don't think anything greater than actually, my grandfather used to say something that has become one of the most profound statements I've ever heard in my life. And he said, Arkee, never listen to what people say out of their mouth. That's who they want to be. Watch their actions, watch what they do. That's who they
Yes.
are. I've never met anyone who said to me, I don't think that Black people should pool their money together to develop their own communities. I never heard a Black person say, I don't think we should pool our money together to build our own institutions, our own hospitals, our own schools. I've never heard a Black person say that we shouldn't start our own municipalities over again. I've never heard any of them say that. But when it comes to taking the time and joining the Black Achievement Fund, which is only $9 a month, and it's a nonprofit organization, we're fully transparent with all of the money. Like right now, if you go to our website, we're raising money to build our first collectively owned house on land that we collectively own. And if
Wow.
you donate one penny, you're going to see the penny come up there. So at the end of the day, we're challenging our community to just simply be who you say you are. If you say that you believe in these things and here someone is presenting an organization that is doing exactly that, the question becomes, well, why aren't you joining? We're not stealing anyone's money. Our taxes are online. I've donated money, more money than I've generated for myself for the Black Achievement Fund. So it's just getting people to break through their distrust. And so many people who've come to the neighborhood saying they're going to build this, they're going to do that, and it just never materializes. So I think the burden of proof is literally on us. So I'm working diligently to build this community. The community is, we're going to have over 50 houses in this community, a full produce farm, greenhouse, chicken raising operation, beekeeping operation, trails all throughout the property, an awesome futuristic clubhouse with conference and fitness facilities, a spa, and a resort style pool, as well as a restaurant. So there's a lot of things that we've packed into this 112-acre community we're developing. So it is my belief that once we demonstrate our capacity to actually make good on what we're saying, then people will see the proof in the pudding and we'll get a tsunami of new members. But I definitely think that there's been so many people ahead of me who've messed it up for me. So the burden of proof, is on me.
I see. Okay, so what can they get with the $9 a month?
Well, we have a ton of things that we do here at the Black Achievement Fund. Every week is a learning experience for all of our members. I do an info session on Sundays at 2:00 that profile all aspects of our history and culture. In addition to that, we have an online curriculum sponsored by the Education for Life Academy, which begins with the origins of all human beings in Africa over 300,000 years ago, as opposed to beginning with slavery. As I mentioned, we've already collectively purchased our first 6 acres of land. And in addition to that, my wife and I, we've donated 2 additional acres. We have our new community that we are building right now, which is 112 acres. In addition to that, we have our very own cultural club here in Atlanta, the Kemet Club. And it is our social space that the $9 pays for it every month. You have complimentary spring water, coffee, tea. We have podcasting equipment, screen TVs, all the streaming channels, Bluetooth TV. So members rent it out for inexpensively for private events. And then we have public events, live events. Like this Saturday, we have an open mic night. We have paint and sips. We have movies of the week. Organizations meet here. Our members have business meetings here. So we've done a lot. We give scholarships. We've given over 40,000 in scholarships to Black Achievement Fund members, as well as to our nonprofit members. So there we have a Toastmasters Club. There's a lot of things that we're doing here with the Black Achievement Fund.
Oh, wow. That is so amazing.
Stay tuned in. You will definitely see all of the benefits that you get with your $9.
Wow. Is there anything that you haven't created that you plan to create in the next few years?
Well, this project is pretty much a 5-year project. So I am super, super focused on, and I don't know if I could share a screen through this, but if you see the houses that we're developing, it's pure Wakanda. So we're not working on some basic new community with regular old houses and all of that sort of thing. We are showing off with this community, and we're trying to showcase that we as Black people, through our culture, through our worldview, we have the ability to create a greener pasture than what Europeans have created right here in America. So it is our job to show and prove that we can actually do that. So this is going to be a tough 5 years. It's already been a challenging year since we've been seeking financing, but I think we finally found the right partners, and we're on our way to building our very first 2 houses at a time. So I'm really excited.
And you're definitely built for this challenge, And
No doubt.
So what kind of tips would you like to give our viewers and listeners about just, how to stay resilient and inspired.
The biggest thing is to know that you have people out there like myself, you have organizations like the Black Achievement Fund who are working diligently to provide a better path forward where we don't have to rely on all of the laws and all of the things that are happening with, the presidential politics and all of those sorts of things. We have the ability to be self-governing right here in America. We have the ability to start our own municipalities right here in America, and we've already done so. You've had Idlewild, you had Mound Bayou, you have Edenton, you've had Sag Harbor, you have Highland Park, Maryland. You have Boley, Oklahoma. You have Langston, Oklahoma. You have so many examples, and we've showcased all of these Black municipalities that I've spoken about on our YouTube page to get people to understand that this is not a fantasy that we're talking about. This is real things that we've already done. So I think a lot of it is to not take for granted that because you're Black, you know all that it is about Black history and Black culture. I think that's one of our biggest problems is that we're not connected to our history in a real sense where we can pull these old solutions back to the forefront and say, you know what, we're going to do it bigger and better this time. It always reminds me like Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner.
Okay.
Everyone knows that, that show and the cartoon. And the Wile E. Coyote, he'll have a scheme to catch the Roadrunner, but because he messed up, the trap didn't work. But he will never go back and say, okay, I messed that up. If I would have done it the right way, it would have caught him. He will never go back. If you watch, he will never go back and try the same trap twice. And I think that that's how Black people are right now. Because we don't know enough of our history, we have not been taught that we started our own cities, our own municipalities. These are things that are not going to be taught in a school. And you can't be a parent and think that these things are being taught because they absolutely are not, So being disconnected from the more empowering aspects of African and African American history is one of the major problems that I see as well. Just not possible.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely have to raise our own. I always say it's like a giraffe teaching tigers. I mean, we really need to really show our own how to live because we are of different essences. And I mean, every year, how many times can we learn about the same people every year in Black History Month? We do need to be educated. You are so right about that.
And we're not educated enough in, again, the more empowering aspects of our culture. Like, you're not going to find a story about a Black woman starting Voorhees College. And this was Elizabeth Evelyn Wright, a Black woman who was born in the 1890s, started a major university that still exists today. And she was from Georgia, went to South Carolina to start this college, and the Ku Klux Klan followed her everywhere she went and was burning the schools down, burnt down at least 10 of the schools that she attempted to start. And she was absolutely resilient and, ended up founding a place and was able to hold on to it and built a coalition of people to help support the school. But these stories are not shown. So we try to do that each week with the Black Achievement Fund in hopes that people can learn new aspects about how we were powerful and how we can once again regain that same level of power in contemporary times.
Wow, that is beautiful. I love it. I'm a fan. Is this going to be in every state eventually, or?
Yeah, right now we have members in all 50 states, and we have about 6 members internationally. And even beyond that, one of the people who are building our first house is a former executive with the Peace Corps, and her daughter is a diplomat. She's the High Commissioner of Zambia. So the organization's tentacles are far and beyond, but we're trying to at least get to our first 10,000 founding members. So that's our aim right now. And we're a little
Okay.
over 3,400 members.
10,000. Okay. Wow. All right. Wow. This has been amazing. I'm so thankful that you accepted this invitation. Is there anything else you would like to share?
Well, I want to thank you for becoming a member of the Black Achievement Fund and
Mhm.
providing this platform for us and for highlighting other young entrepreneurs, because that's one thing that I find sorely missing in the nonprofit world. We have a lot of visionaries, but we don't have a lot of business people who have experience in being able to translate an idea to a pragmatic program and fund it without government funding, foundation funding. And we know that in this climate, those things are far and few in between.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And so your website is baf.solutions, correct?
Yep, correct. No .org or .com, just .solutions. We wanted to make it so when you type in anything about us, you have to type in the word solutions, because that's what we're all about. We've done enough analysis, the whole paralysis of analysis. Solutions.
Yeah.
Solutions.
Well, thank you so much. I would love for you to come back. Is there any other way you would like for people to contact you?
Join the Black Achievement Fund. Once you join the Black Achievement Fund, I will know you. I will have all of your information, and we will begin sharing all of the things that we're doing here with the Black Achievement Fund. And most of our programming is virtual. So no matter where you are in the country or outside of the country, there is something for you with the Black Achievement Fund. So
Awesome.
please join us. That is the best way to get in contact with me. And if you want to contact me personally, just email info@baf.solutions.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this episode, and I would love for you to come back in the future so we can follow up and see how everything is going. Is that good with you?
I can't wait. I can't wait. We're all about results here with the Black
Yeah.
Achievement Fund. So I can't wait to come back, Coach Stephanie, and share some of those results with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All
Thank you
right.
for
Okay, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly did. I mean, you know, we have to do what we have to do, and each one reach 10. Please share this episode. This is so important. Yeah, it's time. I mean, there's so many other things that I could say, but you know what to do. Let's just do what we need to do, everyone, and just come together and let's make a difference. We're here for a reason. And as the brother Arkee Hodges mentioned, I mean, you know, we're here for a reason. What is your reason? Let's all come together. Contact this gentleman at baf.solutions and let's keep moving. I love it. Thank you all for being a part of this episode of Beyond Boardroom Business with your host, Coach Stephanie. And until the next time, stay prayerful, stay positive, and stay powerful. Until the next time, peace.